Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and today we are doing our XFL game spread and over-under predictions. So yeah, last week just on the straight pick'em, I went 2-2, my dad went 2-2. It was not the greatest week by any means last week. I also went 2-2 on the spreads and my dad went 1-3. And as for the over-unders, I yet again went 2-2 and my dad went 1-3. So, did not go the greatest, if I'm being honest, just like this kickoff return. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. There is no word of the day because my friend is still asleep at 10:16. So, yeah, and we're 2 hours away from game time, so, I can't really wait on him to wake up. So, yeah, let's just get into it. So, starting off, we have the Vipers at the Battlehawks. And we saw this 2 weeks ago. I picked the Vipers to win after they were coming off their first win of the season. They lost like 29-6. They are now coming off of their second win in the season. This time it is at St. Louis. There is no way they win. I know, they got a new quarterback, played really well. They obviously beat the Brahmas, who had injury problems. But still, they're not beating the Battlehawks. I tried to do this the last time. It did not work out. I am taking the Battlehawks in this one, and I am not selling this time. And so will my dad. As for the spread on this game, it is Battlehawks minus 7.5. We saw what happened last time. I don't care that much about the new quarterback. I don't even know his name. I'll probably regret these words. But, we won by 23 points last time. I think 7.5 we should be able to cover. So, yeah, I'm taking this Battlehawks minus 7.5. However, my dad will take the Vipers. As for the over-under, it is 46.5. Battlehawks put up 29 points last time. And last week, they played a really good defense in the Roughnecks, I'm pretty sure. And how many points? I think it was 24-15, or was that another game? Hold on, let me look at the schedule real quick. Past games. As soon as it loads. Yeah, we won 24-15. We put up 24 points against a really good defense. Now, I know Brandon Silvers was hurt, so they didn't really have, much hope. And, they weren't really playing for a lot right there. But still, we put up 24 points against a really good defense. And, we're going up against the Vipers defense, who has only won 2 games and has been not very good. So yeah, I'm taking the over in this one. Now that the Vipers have a new quarterback, the Vipers should put up more than 6 points in this game. So I'm definitely taking the over, 46.5, and so will my dad. So yeah. Next up, we have the Renegades at the Guardians, and yeah. So this is a very interesting game. We all know the Renegades. They're 3-4. Honestly, one of the most atrocious teams to watch. They're just so terrible. But somehow they have won 3 games. And then you got the Guardians, who in the last 2 to 3 weeks have been playing the best football of their entire season and ended up beating the 6-0 Defenders last week and closing out the game really well. Held them to a 60-yard field goal that they missed, so they won. They closed out really well. I'm not exactly sure what happened on their last drive. Did they score on the last drive, or did they just run out clock? I'm not really sure. It was a whole week ago, so I don't really know. But they are playing their best football right now, and they just got that $1,000 check, and they are feeling really, really good. And I know I said this about the Vipers when they were going in to play the Battlehawks, but the Renegades are a significantly worse team than the Battlehawks, okay? I am taking the Guardians in this one. The Guardians have just been amazing to watch in the last couple of weeks. They're really responding well to Quentin Dormady, and I've just loved watching this team, especially with the new quarterback, and now he's 3 weeks into the system. They've got huge momentum. I honestly think, as of right now, at this point, that the Guardians could make a playoff push. It is slim odds, but I honestly do think that the Guardians could do it with the way they are playing football right now and the way that their division looks. We'll just have to see how that goes, but I am taking the Guardians. However, my dad will take the Renegades at Orlando. As for the spread, Guardians are actually favored in this game, -1.5. And so, of course, I'm going to stick with the Guardians. It's only 1 point. I mean, it could be a 1 point game, but, I doubt it. My dad will take the Renegades, so that's cool. Because they're obviously favored, and, he took them without points, so why would he take them with points? Or why would he not? As for the over-under, it is 42.5. I'm going to take the under in this one, even though the Guardians offense has been playing great. The last time they played this team, they put up 9 points, and their defense held the Renegades to 10 points. And if I'm looking at it, the Renegades did just get Luis Perez. So you know what? I'm actually going to flip to the over. You know what? I forgot about that. They did just get Luis Perez. And, the Guardians have their new quarterback. Their offense is clicking, like I've been saying. And now that, even though I thought Drew Plitt was playing, okay, they obviously weren't putting up many points, and Luis Perez can do that. So, I'm looking forward to seeing Luis Perez play for his first week. This might be a bad decision. But, I think it's time for the Renegades defense to get exposed. And, the last team to put up 20 points against the Renegades, if I remember correctly, was Luis Perez. So, even though they're not playing against the Renegades, he's on the Renegades. He's still putting up points. So, yeah. We're going to take the over 42.5. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what? Just, you got to understand. So, yeah, my dad will take the over as well. I don't know if I said that. Anyways, next up we have the Roughnecks at the Brahmas. And man, the Brahmas had their chance to prove and, potentially push for the playoffs. This was their playoff potential. They had a chance. They had a chance to make the playoffs. They had a chance to do it. They could, if they win this game, the freaking Renegades are not looking like a good team, and they just got to go up against the 1-5 Vipers, and they sold. They just lost to the Vipers with a new quarterback first week in. They were just not good. Jack Cohen I don't know if he's going to be playing in this game. Regardless, I don't think they are going to win. They're going up against the Roughnecks, who have lost the last 2 games in a row. Wade Phillips is coaching them. He is a great coach, and if there's one thing that great coaches do, he's going to be onto them in that locker room, getting them better and getting them prepped for this week. They don't go on losing streaks. Streaks are just not a thing that good coaches do. They just be winning, okay? They either lose the whole season or they win the whole season, okay? They don't go on winning streaks and cold streaks and hot streaks because they know what they're doing, okay? So I'm going to take the Roughnecks in this one at the Brahmas, especially just based off how they played last week and all the injuries that they have. Even if Jack Cohen does come back and Kalen Balaj does come back, which I don't know for sure, they're still going to be, it's their first week back. So they're not going to be great. So I'm taking the Roughnecks, and so will my dad at San Antonio. As for the spread, it is Brahmas plus 5.5. I really do not think this game will be close. I think the Roughnecks are going to try and absolutely dominate this game. Even though they really have no threats in their division to, make the playoffs, they are still looking to come into the postseason hot with only 3 weeks remaining. They are ready to win a game and get this, cold streak, even though it's 2 games, over with. They're just ready to get their $1,000 paycheck back. I think they're going to do that this week. So I'm taking the Roughnecks minus 5.5. However, my dad will take the Brahmas. So, yeah, that's interesting. Now, the over-under is 40.5. And, I talked about this last week. It went under by like 2.5 points when they played the Vipers, which is absolutely stupid. But you have the Roughnecks. I don't care if Brandon Silvers is hurt or playing. This is a great offense. I don't care if it's Cole McDonald. I don't care. It's a great offense with a great coach. And, sometimes their defense puts up points, and the Brahmas are still, gonna put up something. It's not that hard to get 40.5 points. Both teams just have to score 20 points. That is not that difficult, and I think there will definitely be 40 points in this scored with the way that the Roughnecks offense is. So, yeah. I'm taking the over, however my dad will take the under. And if I... Okay, never mind. Anyways, yeah. Next up, we have the final game of the weekend. Defenders at Sea Dragons. And this is an interesting game. We have a Defenders team that just lost to arguably the worst team in football, which I don't consider them the worst team in football, but y'all can say what you will. A 6-0 team loses to a 1-6 team. And then you have the Sea Dragons, who have not lost since week 2 of the season. The hottest team in football right now. Have not lost a game since week 2. Started off 0-2. This team has fought through adversity and been a great team in these last 5 weeks and are now 5-2 and are pushing to take that 1 seed. Now, of course, they are the 3 seed, but if they win this game, what does that even mean if they win this game? Because the Defenders would be... What does that do? Because the Defenders would be 5-2. Or no, the Defenders would be 6-2. And the Sea Dragons would be 6-2. And assuming the Battlehawks won, the Battlehawks would be 6-2. And so the Battlehawks have beaten the Sea Dragons, but the Defenders have beaten the Battlehawks. So would the Battlehawks go to 3, and the Defenders go to 2, and the Sea Dragons go to 1? Or would the Sea Dragons stay at 3, and everything stay the same, even though the Sea Dragons just beat the Defenders? I don't know. But that's probably not going to happen, because we're taking the Defenders in this one. The Defenders get to learn from their losses last week. They get to understand what they did. They're going to be going hard in practice this week. They're not trying to lose their 1-seeded spot in this division, and they just can't do it. Even though the Sea Dragons cannot afford to lose either, they've just been so hot recently, and it seems like every team that has just been on fire has been shut down in the last couple of weeks. You had the Roughnecks, who were actually shut down by the Sea Dragons, and then you had the Defenders, who were shut down by, or weren't really shut down, it was a 1-point game, but, lost to the Guardians. Now I think it's the Sea Dragons' turn to finally lose a game after the last 5 weeks. So I'm going to take the Defenders in this one, even though it is at Seattle. I think they just, it's kind of weird to say. I think losing a game does really help a team. It helps them understand where they are, how they're playing, and you get to look back at film and say, that's what we did wrong. If you win a game, you're like, it was good enough to get the job done, and you move on. But you see, you lose, you learn from your mistakes. That defense is going to be a lot better this week after getting picked apart by the Guardians. So, yeah, I am taking the Defenders in this one, and so will my dad. So, yeah. Now, the Sea Dragons are favored by 1.5 points, so obviously I'm taking the Defenders, and so will my dad, because if you're going to take them without points, you take them with plus 1.5, so, just smart stuff. Now, you have the Defenders at the Sea Dragons, over under 46.5 points. And if we look back at last week, we see the Sea Dragons put up 24 and the Defenders put up 36. This game will easily go for the over. I think this might even be a 40-point shootout. I'm just kidding. I think the defenses will be a little bit better in this game, especially on the Defender side. But I still think it'll go over. These are two absolutely amazing offenses with Ben DiNucci, Jordan Ta'amu, and De'Aaron King. Great running games with Abram Smith and whoever the frick the running back for the Sea Dragons is. And, just great offenses, great offensive coordinators, just great teams offensively. Even though their defenses are pretty good, I don't know about Seattle's, but the Defenders' defense is pretty good, despite what happened last week. I think these offenses will certainly overpower this game, and it will be the over. It's just 23 points for each team. They both scored over 23 points last week easily. So, yeah. And the Sea Dragons scored. Hold on. Who did the Sea Dragons play last week? The Sea Dragons played the Renegades. The Renegades. They put up 24 points against the best defense in football. So come on now. They're putting up more than 24 points in this game. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just easy. Easy. So, yeah. That's it. Taking the over. Dad's taking the over. That's the end. No word of the day. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I'll see you guys next time.